AJ Lee, not as a triumphant comeback, but as a calculated distraction to aid her husband's ambush. This wasn't it, and WWE's global reputation hanging by a thread. CM Punk and AJ Lee's shocking conspiracy, the darkest night in WWE history. Professional wrestling has always thrived on drama, betrayal, and larger-than-life personalities. But what unfolded on Monday Night Raw was not just a storyline or an entertaining twist. It was an event so shocking, calculated, and morally bankrupt that it shook the very foundation of WWE. CM Punk's cowardly ambush of Seth Rollins, aided and abetted by the unexpected return of AJ Lee, represents one of the most disgraceful moments in the history of the company. What makes this incident especially disturbing is not only the physical violence itself, but the web of lies, manipulation, and corporate complicity that allowed it to happen. The cowardly ambush on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, known for his tireless dedication to fans and his professionalism inside and outside the ring, was not preparing for a fight that night. Instead, he was engaging with the WWE Universe, signing autographs, shaking hands, and displaying the kind of integrity that has made him one of the most respected performers of his generation. From behind, without warning, Punk launched a vicious attack on a man who had no reason to expect violence. The force of the ambush was not only physical, it was psychological, breaking the trust between performers and fans and shattering the respect that should exist between colleagues in the locker room. By refusing to face Seth Rollins man-to-man, Punk revealed his true character. Not the best in the world he claims to be, but a coward who hides behind cheap shots and distractions. AJ Lee's return, a weaponized comeback. At first glance, AJ Lee's return seemed like a moment for celebration. Fans around the world erupted in joy at seeing the former Divas champion back in WWE. But almost immediately, the truth became impossible to ignore. Her return was not about nostalgia, passion, or empowerment. It was a calculated distraction, timed perfectly to give Punk the cover he needed to execute his ambush. AJ Lee's involvement makes the incident even more disheartening. Once a symbol of strength, individuality, and inspiration for women in wrestling, she has now allowed herself to become a pawn in her husband's selfish vendetta. Worse still, evidence suggests her return wasn't organic, but negotiated directly into Punk's contract. A corporate move bought and paid for to serve his agenda. A web of lies and manipulation behind the spectacle lies an even darker story. Multiple backstage sources have revealed that Punk has harbored resentment toward Seth Rollins for months. During Punk's absence, Seth rose to become one of WWE's most consistent and respected performers, carrying the company on his shoulders. Instead of respecting this, Punk grew consumed with jealousy, making threatening comments and spreading toxicity among peers. AJ Lee's return provided the perfect smokescreen. By drawing attention to herself, she ensured fans and media would be divided, some celebrating her comeback, others reeling from Punk's actions. This is manipulation at its purest form, creating chaos to avoid accountability. The betrayal of Seth Rollins. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this entire saga is the betrayal of Seth Rollins himself. Seth was one of the few wrestlers who publicly welcomed CM Punk back to WWE. He defended him against critics, supported his return, and offered respect. In return, he received a sneak attack designed to humiliate and potentially injure him permanently. Medical leaks suggest Seth's injuries may be more severe than WWE admits. Independent experts analyzing footage believe the impact to his neck and spine could have lasting consequences, possibly even ending his career. WWE's silence on the extent of his injuries is deafening. and only adds to suspicions of a cover-up. Backstage chaos and locker room fallout. The aftermath of the attack sent shockwaves through WWE's locker room. Reports indicate that multiple wrestlers confronted Punk backstage, some threatening to walk out altogether. The fragile sense of unity and respect that had been building was shattered instantly. Younger talent, who looked up to both Punk and AJ, have been left confused, angry, and betrayed. Veterans reportedly warned management that allowing Punk to run unchecked would end in disaster, warnings that were ignored in the pursuit of ratings. Legal and ethical ramifications. This incident raises serious legal questions. Punk's ambush could easily be classified as criminal assault, especially given evidence of premeditation. AJ Lee's role in aiding the setup could implicate her as an accomplice. WWE's complicity, by knowingly allowing the attack, may expose them to lawsuits for workplace negligence and fraud if they are indeed hiding Seth's true medical condition. The ethical bankruptcy is equally clear. By monetizing real violence and disguising it as entertainment, WWE has betrayed not only its performers, but also its fans. CM Punk's lack of remorse. What makes this entire saga even more enraging is Punk's behavior after the attack. Reports say he was seen laughing and celebrating backstage, showing no concern for Seth's injuries or the chaos he caused. His post-attack promo only amplified the arrogance, as he attempted to justify his cowardice as standing up for what's right. This delusion proves Punk is not just jealous. He is unfit to be trusted in a professional environment. A dark day for wrestling. This incident will go down in history not as a thrilling twist in WWE storytelling, but as a turning point where fans were forced to confront the ugly truth. When violence, manipulation, and selfish agendas are not only tolerated but rewarded, the entire industry suffers. The attack on Seth Rollins, aided by AJ Lee and enabled by WWE management, represents the complete collapse of trust between fans, performers, and the company. It undermines women's wrestling, betrays loyal employees, and destroys the credibility of two once-beloved figures in the sport. AJ Lee's tarnished legacy. For years, AJ Lee stood as a symbol of change in women's wrestling. She represented strength, independence, and the fight against being treated as secondary in a male-dominated industry. Yet, by aligning herself with Punk's cowardice, she has undone much of that goodwill. Her return is not remembered as a triumphant comeback. It's remembered as the night she enabled her husband's violence. Instead of being a leader for women in wrestling, she has become complicit in undermining their progress, reduced to nothing more than a distraction in a man's selfish scheme. Conclusion: CM Punk's ambush was not just a wrestling angle. It was a calculated, premeditated assault. AJ Lee's return was not a heartfelt comeback. It was weaponized manipulation. WWE's role was not that of an innocent bystander. It was that of an enabler, complicit in sacrificing safety and dignity for ratings. The betrayal of Seth Rollins, the tarnishing of AJ Lee's legacy, and the exposure of WWE's corrupt priorities mark this as one of the darkest chapters in professional wrestling history. Fans will not forget this night. Wrestlers will not forgive it. And the industry may never fully recover from the stain left by CM Punk's cowardice and WWE's complicity.